conditions on this Wednesday night for baseball. Interleague play continues at Miller Park here in Milwaukee. It's the Texas Rangers first place in the AL West against your Milwaukee Brewers, who got back on the winning track last night, topping the Rangers in the first of the short two-game interleague series. Good to see Aramis Ramirez back in the Brewer lineup tonight. He is in there for the second straight game. His last at-bat was a home run, and he hopes to provide some power for Kyle Loesch, who is trying to make it 2 wins in a row for the Brew Crew right now. Tough battle, though, with the first-place Rangers. Hi, everybody. Craig Kashan, Davey Nelson back on board with you here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. And Kyle Loesch back out on the hill, got hit pretty hard against his old teammates in the St. Louis Cardinals, Davey, but he says he learns a lot, especially from those losses.
Well, he did, and the thing about Kyle Loesch was the fact that, he gave up in 5 innings, 11 hits. That was not vintage Kyle Loesch. He knew he made some mistakes, so, he's going to correct that. See, this is vintage Kyle Loesch right now. He's got great command of his pitches, and he can elevate his fastball when he's throwing his breaking ball and change up for strikes, but it's all about his command.
And Kyle Loesch just a 1-3 record right now. Low run support, though, on the other side of the field. And the Brewers hoping to get the big bats going like they did in that first inning yesterday. And courtesy of Aramis Ramirez being back in there for a second straight night. As I mentioned, that last at bat, a home run. So, he went out feeling good yesterday. Came to the ballpark feeling even better here tonight. BA and Rocker set to take it the rest of the way. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Miller Lite, it's not just a good time, it's Miller time. And by Toyota, let's go places. Great night to grill out, great night for baseball. Here are your game announcers now, Brian Anderson and Bill Schroeder, guys.
All right, Craig, thanks a lot. Indeed it is. It's a beautiful night. The roof is open here tonight. The panels are open as well. And Rock, we're set for the final game of this 2-game series with the Rangers. We wrap up a 9-game homestand tonight, and we saw last night the impact of Aramis Ramirez in the lineup. The Brewers getting Ramirez back. He has played in just 7 games so far this season. He missed a month with a left knee injury, and the power bat returned last night.
And I think the Brewers did a pretty good job in his absence. They had a 9-game winning streak. They're able to win some games, but just his presence, as you talked about in that lineup, is going to make everybody else much better. And I think Ryan Braun's going to be the guy that benefits the most. He leads the National League in intentional walks, talking about Braun. And as Ramirez starts to heat up, pitchers are going to be more apt to throw strikes to Braun and run-scoring opportunities. Ramirez decided not to go on a rehab assignment. He knows himself, and he knows how important he is to this lineup. Good to have him back. Just wait till Corey Hart gets back.
Well, since he has come back, he is 3 for 10 at the plate. He's back in the lineup for the first time in back-to-back games. Got a good old-fashioned pitcher's duel, perhaps. Derek Holland, the left-hander. Kyle Loesch will match up. It's game 2 next. Tonight from Miller Park, the Brewers take to the field on a 70-degree evening here on a Wednesday night. It's the Brewers and the Texas Rangers interleague baseball from Miller Park tonight. Carlos Gomez still leading the league in hitting as we get set to start tonight's game. And Kyle Loesch is on the mound for the Brew Crew this evening. He's trying to bounce back after a very tough outing against his former team, the Cardinals. There is Ron Washington in his 7th season as the Rangers skipper, had back-to-back appearances in the World Series. And Washington's batting order, same as last night. It's brought to you by Piggly Wiggly. Ian Kinsler, Elvis Andrews, Adrian Beltre will lead off. In the middle of the order, it's Nelson Cruz, Mitch Moreland, and Giovanni Soto, with David Murphy, Leonis Martin, and Derek Holland rounding it out. Pitchers will hit for themselves. And Rock, there's Kyle Loesch.
Hasn't faced the Texas Rangers since the 2011 World Series. That was in Arlington. Didn't fare all that well. 7 start for Kyle Loesch, only 3 walks, 24 strikeouts for the Brewers right-hander. Has not walked more than 1 batter in any of his starts this year. And here's the defense behind Loesch. Your Menards Brewers defense. Brewers have been playing some pretty good D lately. Jonathan Lucroy back behind home plate, catching Kyle Loesch tonight after a day off in yesterday's ball game.
Now we send it down to the third member of our team, Telly Hughes, after the Brewers picked up the win last night against Texas.
Yeah, that's right, B.A. Ron Renicky said this is a very important game because an opportunity, it may seem like it's only a 2-game sweep, but with a 10-game road trip looming, this is a big game for the Brewers to finish off this homestand on a good note.
Yeah, the Brewers will go against their division on this next road trip as Loesch, his first offering down low for ball one, and away we go here from Miller Park tonight. Ian Kinsler leads off. He'll be followed by Elvis Andrus and then Beltre. And the Brewers will start their road trip on Friday in Cincinnati. That's a 3-game series. They'll play 4 in Pittsburgh, and then they'll wrap it up on a weekend series in St. Louis. Second trip to St. Louis already.
That's a rough road trip for the Brewers. I mean, all locations that the Brewers have had a tough time winning, particularly Cincinnati and St. Louis. Cincinnati has been a house of horrors for the Brewers, so Ron Renicky's right. This is a big win for him tonight.
Tim Timmons calls the balls and strikes tonight. Crew chief is over at first base, Mike Winters. And what a stop by Segura. The throw to first. He is late, and the throw goes into the dugout. And that'll be an error on Segura. Boy, he made a great stop and then just couldn't quite get it out of his glove. Probably go as an infield hit than an error for Ian Kinsler.
And a tough hop for Betancourt over at first base to handle. Well, it is a tremendous play on the ground ball, but you can see he had trouble getting it out of his glove. The in-between hop to Betancourt, and Gene Segura will be charged with only his 2nd error this year.
Now that took a tough hop on Betancourt.
And those in-between hops are tough.
And when you don't get the baseball right away, probably best to just eat it at that point. When he was trying to make a play, Segura just his 2nd error of the season, and the Rangers have a runner in scoring position right away here. Elvis Andrus now. Well, the Brewers played a good ball game last night. They had a 5-run first inning, and they made it stand up. Ramirez had a home run late in the game that stretched it to a 3-run lead, and the bullpen of Gorzolani and Kinsler and Jim Henderson closed the door on the Rangers, who were trying to make a comeback push in last night's game. Willie Peralta picking up the win, and it is his birthday today. Willie celebrating his 24th birthday.
Yeah, he looked good in last night's ball game. Not the big strikeout totals last night, only 2, but got 9 ground ball outs. Very good movement on his fastball at 96.
Yeah, Peralta picking up his 3rd win in last night's game. 6 strong innings for Peralta, 3 runs, 2 earned, and defeating the heavy hitting Texas Rangers. So the Brewers trying to come away with a victory tonight and finish this homestand with 4 wins after being swept by the St. Louis Cardinals. The Brewers had actually lost 5 in a row before that win last night. And if they can make it a 4-5 homestand, then that'll send them on the road feeling pretty good about themselves, meaning they would have come back against a first-place team in the Texas Rangers and won a couple of games. 3 first-place teams the Brewers have faced in this series. When they matched up against the Pirates, Pittsburgh was in first, had the lowest ERA in the National League. Brewers took 2 out of 3 from the Pirates. Got swept by the first place Cardinals, who won again today. St. Louis beat the Cubs today 5-4. So the Redbirds now 21-12, sitting 9 games over 500.
And it really doesn't get much easier, as we talked about on the road trip coming up from Milwaukee. Tough opponents early on.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Andrus, and he fouls it away. Defensive swing by Elvis. Rangers are typically pretty good in spots like this, advancing runners, driving in runs. They've been one of the top offensive teams in the league for the last few years, and certainly they're without a big bat these days in Josh Hamilton, who signed a free agent contract with the Angels, but they have plenty to cover. Kinsler takes off, and a bouncing ball in the hole, and no chance here. So 2 infield hits to start this game against Kyle Loesch.
Well, just kind of the way things go for Loesch from time to time. He didn't have very good location in his start against St. Louis. Gave up 4 runs in 5 innings. Kinsler running on the pitch, and a little dribble ends up being a base hit. So a couple of infield hits for Texas, and they're in business with the meat of the order coming up. Sometimes you make good pitches and you don't get outs.
No runners at the corners for Adrian Beltre. In a spot where Loesch could certainly use a strikeout. He's facing a guy that doesn't strike out much. Beltre hitting just .234 coming in, but he does have some power numbers and some production. 6 home runs to go along with 17 runs batted in.
He doesn't strike out much, doesn't walk much. He's got an on-base percentage of .285 with a batting average of .234. So this guy puts a ball in play ordinarily.
Well, you see where the Rangers rank. Upper third of the American League in just about every category. And they are a club that likes to run, and Andrews is one of those that will run quite a bit. Yeah, leading the American League in ERA coming into play tonight. They are 5th in the American League in batting average and scoring over 4 runs per game. Beltre socks one through, a base hit and an RBI for Adrian Beltre. And a rough start for Kyle Loesch. 2 infield hits and now a clean single through. And it's 1-0 Texas, and nobody out yet.
Oh, speed pitch up in his eyes, and Beltre able to get on top of it and hit it hard into left. Location on that pitch a bit up, and Beltre able to take advantage of it. A change up and in. That's not where you want it. You want it down and away if you could choose. And Beltre drives in the first run.
First and second for Nelson Cruz. He's hitting .281. He was hitless last night, 0 for 3. Did have an RBI in last night's game. Cruz with 7 home runs, 24 driven in for the season. Former Brewer product. Cruz traded to the Rangers in the Carlos Lee deal back in 2006. And he has turned himself into a star player. And he will be a free agent come season's end. And you got to think he's going to be one of those highly coveted outfielders with a big bat.
A good hitter and a good hitting ballpark, Arlington, Texas. Got some good pop, particularly to the opposite field.
Cruz has a home run against Kyle Loesch. That came in Game 3 of the World Series in 2011. Loesch pitching for the Cardinals. The World Series champion St. Louis Cardinals defeating the Texas Rangers in 2011. The Rangers were there in back-to-back years. Lost to the Giants in 2010 and then to the Rangers the next season. And Cruz, a swing and a miss. Kyle Loesch picks up a big strikeout for the first out of the ball game.
Yeah, steady diet of sliders, and this time able to catch the outside corner with a fastball. And that 2-seamer right on the outside corner, down around the knees, and Nelson Cruz the first out of the game.
Well, first and second for Mitch Moreland, who homered last night on Peralta. Opposite field home run for Moreland. Had 2 hits last night. Both of his hits came the opposite way. Belted his 5th home run of the season last night.
And 4 times up, he hit everything into center field and around the left. Now that was with Willie Peralta throwing 96 miles an hour. That might change with Loesch on the mound. Brewers having to pull in the infield and straight away in the outfield.
Moreland has been a hot hitter lately. Has 8 hits in his last 19 at-bats, including those 2 last night, as Loesch misses down and in. 2 balls, no strikes on Moreland. Moreland opened the season in an 0 for 13 slump, but he pulled out of it quickly. Loesch could use a ground ball here. Tough count to be in with a power hitter at the plate. And he lays off, and it's 3-0.
Yeah, it looked like Lucroy got crossed up a bit on that pitch. Kind of handcuffed him a little bit. You see Kyle a little bit frustrated with himself right now. Expected one pitch and got another, but was able to keep it in the glove.
Andrews out at second, Beltre at first, and we'll see if Moreland has the green light on a 3-0 count. He takes a strike. Now, some of the wind currents that we felt last night will be alleviated a little bit tonight. The panels have been closed while the roof is open. The panels in the outfield closed up, and that one misses down and in. So the struggle continues for Loesch. Not the kind of start he's looking for, and he is swimming in the deep waters here in this first inning. 3 hits and a walk, and the bases are loaded with a run in.
Just having a tough time putting that baseball in the corners. You know, Kyle knows that he doesn't have the kind of stuff he can get away with throwing the fastball or any of his other pitches on too much of the plate. Doesn't have that kind of velocity.
Giovanni Soto back in the starting lineup tonight. A.J. Pierzynski, who is the everyday catcher for the Rangers, he is out with an oblique injury, hoping not to have to go to the disabled list. Had an MRI performed on that oblique, and the Rangers are still awaiting the news of that MRI. So it's Soto who gets the call once again tonight. Soto was a late add to the lineup yesterday. Pierzynski took batting practice yesterday, but it didn't feel well, and he took himself out of the batting order. And it's 2 balls and a strike.
Yeah, good guy to have at the plate to get that double play. You know, Soto, a very good fastball hitter. Brewers remember him with the Cubs. Loesch trying to attack him, throw strikes with the breaking stuff, keep it down, get a ground ball.
Soto has faced Loesch quite a bit and has good numbers against him throughout his career as Loesch spins one in for a strike, and it's 2-2. Soto has faced Loesch more than any other Ranger. Soto's time with the Cubs, and of course Loesch pitching in the division with the Cardinals. He's 6 for 18 lifetime against him. A lot of pitches in the first inning for Loesch. The 2-2, little cue shot, and that one is going to roll foul. Betancourt lets it roll, and count will remain at 2-2. That was an interesting decision there for Uni.
A little risky right there. I don't know if I would have rather picked it up and got the out. You have 2 outs, a run in, and now bases are still loaded and only 1 out. He lets it go foul. He had a sure out at first base. A lot of times in situations like this in the first inning, you'll trade an out, as tough as they are for Loesch to get right now, for the run.
Well, that'll be a big play to look back upon, depending on what happens here. Another 2-2 coming from Loesch. And it goes full, 3-2. And now he's going to be forced to throw him a strike. Elvis Andrews led off, or actually reached on an infield hit, back-to-back infield hits. Beltre drove in the run. Moreland drew the walk. Pitch number 29 coming of this first inning. And down he goes. Loesch took something off on the 3-2 offering, and a strikeout, his second of the inning.
Yeah, looked like the slider, maybe a cutter, but turned out to be a good decision for Yuniesky Betancourt. There you see a changeup actually, and it looked like it darted the other way. Soto comes up empty. There's a big strikeout. Now getting out, and you minimize the damage.
Yeah, sometimes the big moments occur early in games, and this is one here. David Murphy will bat with the bases loaded and 2 out. And a breaking ball in there for a strike. Murphy has been battling the flu bug. He's trying to come back. He's always been a good hitter with the bases loaded, a .338 average. Does have a hit this year in this situation. No starting pitcher, though, wants to start a ball game having to go over 30 pitches in an inning, in the first inning.
Well, if you do and you only give up 1 run, I think you'll take it.
Yeah. Murphy, the 7th batter of the inning. The 1-1 pitch and a swing and a miss. He put a fastball by him. And it's 1-2 on Murphy.
Curveball, changeup, and fastball right by him. And Murphy a little bit late.
See what Loesch does with him here. This could be a big one here. The 1-2. Murphy swings and misses, and Loesch pulls the Houdini act. Gives up just 1 run, 3 hits, and a walk. But Loesch strikes out the side, and only 1 scores. Kyle Loesch, a long one, but he survives it, giving up just the 1 run. And now the Brewers coming up against left-hander Derek Holland. Ron Renicky still searching for some answers in the back of the bullpen, but he dialed up the right combination last night, and the Brewers ended up winning last night's game. And the batting order today looks like this, with Aoki, Segura, and Braun, Ramirez, Lucroy, and Gomez, Weeks, Betancourt, and Loesch. It's all brought to you by Piggly Wiggly.
And the 26-year-old left-hander Derek Holland on the mound, making his 7th start. Good numbers for Holland. Run support for him by his offense has been an issue for him. He's got a career record of 39 and 29, so good numbers for the lefty.
And Holland coming off a very good game against the Boston Red Sox his last time out. He was the winning pitcher against Boston, and for the 2nd time this season he went 8 innings in that victory over the Red Sox last Friday. Aoki beats one into the ground, out to second base, and Kinsler 4 out, number 1. 26-year-old left-hander Derek Holland.
Well, not a hard thrower. He relies on command. Has a good slider, good changeup, and throws anywhere between 90 and 93 miles an hour. Throws a lot of strikes. And it looks like he's about what? What would you say? 18 years old?
Yes.
The 26-year-old, 6'2", 210 pounds.
Facing the 23-year-old Gene Segura, who's had terrific success this year against left-handed pitching. As a matter of fact, starting play today, Segura is the best in the National League as far as batting average against lefties. He is 15 for 32. He's hitting .469 against southpaws this year. Segura made a number of terrific plays defensively last night. Continues to swing the bat well. His overall batting average coming in is at .339. Gets jammed, and another bouncer out to Kinsler, and 2 quick outs.
Well, check out the Menards defense for the Texas Rangers. They're currently 4th in the American League with only 13 errors. Giovanni Soto getting a start. A.J. Pierzynski out for the 2nd consecutive game with that oblique strain. Shaky defense. No errors yesterday in the 1st inning, but shaky defense in the 1st. Allowed the Brewers to pick up 5 runs in that opening frame.
Justin Grimm probably deserved a little better fate for the Rangers last night, but a misplay in right and left, and then perhaps one at second, cost him 5 runs. And the Brewers would have made them all stand up to win. Well, Ryan Braun and his WBC teammate Derek Holland matching up for the first time. Ryan Braun sitting on a 29-game hitting streak in interleague play. Had a base hit last night and an RBI.
Derek Holland's got kind of a wind-up that's going to take a lot of pressure off the elbow and the shoulder. Kind of a classic delivery. You know, high leg kick, a good follow through, which means he's not going to get much sink ordinarily, and he doesn't. Pretty straight fastball. He'll cut it from time to time.
And he strikes out Ryan Braun in a crisp inning, an 8-pitch inning for Derek Holland. Brewers go in order.
Two out. Let's check out the pitch by pitch. A 4-pitch at bat to Daniel Murphy. Curveball, changeup, fastball off the plate, and then the cutter inside corner and gets him. So Kyle Lowe's doing a Houdini job, as my partner would put it, getting out of that mess with only one run across.
And the whiffs were the call of that matchup. Usually you don't have such a key matchup in the first inning, but depending on how Lowe's goes along here, that could be a big one. And now a broken bat off the bat of Martin, right to Lowe's for the first out. And after a 33-pitch first inning, Lowe's could certainly use a clean one and a quick one here in the second. Lowe's struck out the side in the first. Gave up 3 hits, 3 strikeouts, had a walk. Adrian Beltre with the RBI single. Derek Holland, he is 0 for 7 lifetime at the plate. Doesn't get a lot of opportunities to bat.
Having a good time, though, isn't he? Nice smile on his face after a swing. I wish I could do that when I swung and missed.
Hey, when you can pitch like he can, you can afford to, right? And that was a 1-2-3 sequence against Holland.
Yeah,
Loesch making quick work of him.
These American League pitchers, I guess they enjoy going up there and getting a bat in their hands. At least they take some batting practice. Good changeup from Loesch. Don't expect much of themselves up there.
Well, that is already the 4th strikeout for Kyle Loesch. And 3 of his last 4 outs, actually 4 of his last 5 outs. 2 gone, top of the order. Here is Ian Kinsler, who reached on an infield hit in the first inning.
Kind of interesting inning. He had Willie Peralta last night doing 96 with 2 strikeouts all night. Lowe's topping out at what, 90? He's got 4 already.
Yeah. 9 batters into this game has 4 punch outs. That ball's hit well deep to left. Kinsler watching it, and it is gone. A booming home run by Ian Kinsler, and it's 2-0 Texas. And that's what he can do at the top of that order. Power hitting second baseman.
Not hitting his spots is Kyle Loesch in the early going on some of his pitches. Supposed to be away. Up in his strike zone, out or half, and a changeup. Same pitch that Beltre was able to hit for a single to drive in a run. Question was, is that going to be fair? And yes, it is.
So the Rangers already with 4 hits. Kinsler's 2 for 2, and we're just underway. Elvis Andrus. Infield hit in the first. That one's hit sharply right at Segura, and that will retire the side. So Loesch a quick second inning, but gives up a home run to Kinsler, and it's 2-0. Ian Kinsler with a solo home run with 2 outs in the top of the second inning, and the Rangers lead 2-0. Kinsler has scored both of the runs. And we head to the bottom half with Aramis Ramirez leading off. Derek Holland working through the Brewers order 1-2-3 with a strikeout in the first inning. Ramirez popped his first home run of the season in last night's game. Played in 4 games to start the year, and then he injured his left knee. Ramirez missed 23 games. He missed a month of the schedule, and is 3 for 10 at the plate since returning.
And the Brewers are hoping that his historical slow start is more about the calendar than games played. It was about mid-May where Ramirez started to really take off last year. That's about a week away.
Now that home run by Ramirez last night moved him ahead of Adrian Beltre on the third base record books. That ball's in the air to center field. Back is Leonis Martin with room. Out number 1. Well, Fox Sports is proud to partner with Johns Hopkins Medicine, one of this year's Fox Sports supports charities. Johns Hopkins is at the forefront of groundbreaking research into autoimmune disorders like multiple sclerosis and lupus. Join us in the fight against autoimmune diseases. Donate now by visiting hopkinsmedicine.org/Fox. Having a little fun at the ballpark tonight on a beautiful Wednesday for baseball. Brewers will take tomorrow off, which will be their second off day of the week, and then starting up that long road trip. Starts in Cincinnati Friday night.
Well, how nice of a day was it today in Milwaukee? Wow, best day of the year.
The temperatures got up near 80 degrees today with sunny skies. Finally starting to feel like summer. Best of both worlds here at Miller Park. Can enjoy the open air when it's nice out as Lucroy slaps one to right field, a base hit. And the first hit for the Brew Crew tonight.
Hey, tonight's hammer of the game winner is the Lions Club in Wisconsin Rapids. They call the Brewers in the next 24 hours. The Wisconsin Rapids Lion Club gets 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game. This often courtesy of the Southern League of Wisconsin and our good friends at Miller Lite.
Lucroy is aboard for Carlos Gomez. The red hot Gomez sitting on a 13-game hitting streak coming into play tonight. He is the league's leading hitter. And he shoots one to right. So back-to-back hits. Gomez just continues to rack up the hits. I mean, this guy is in another world right now. Sustained success as well.
And that success in large part because he's going to the opposite field very well. Ordinarily later on in the count, but that pit's a little bit off the outside corner. Gomez lets it get to him and just shoots it into right field. Amazing what he's been able to do in his last 21 games. Remember that slow start he got, hitting about $150 in his first 9 games, and since that time, incredible numbers for Gomez.
Yeah, the one on the right is the key, or really the one in the center as well. The center field hits, right field hits, those have been the difference in Gomez's game this year. He now has 35 hits over his last 22 games. That includes 6 homers. 2 on, 1 out for Ricky Weeks. Now this is a bat the Brewers are desperate to get going, and it has been a while now. Weeks has shown some signs of turning it around on this homestand. He did have a hit last night. He is a very streaky hitter, and the Brewers are anxious for him to jump into a hot streak. It'd be a good time to start right now.
And Ron Renneke dropping him in the batting order tonight. He was hitting, 5th. He was 5th last night, down to 7th tonight. Maybe trying to take the pressure off of him a little bit. But what happens? You drop him down in the lineup to take the pressure off. Your first at bat, you got a couple of men on.
Quickly 0-2 on Weeks. And down he goes. Holland with a nasty breaking ball, and Weeks is down on strikes. Second strikeout for Holland.
There's a good breaking pitch from Derek Holland, the slider. Kind of takes a dip as it gets to home plate. So most of the time it's not going to break a lot, but just enough. He'd rather have the late break than the big break.
So it'll be Uni Betancourt now with 2 away. Rangers lead it 2-0 early. And Betancourt, who is 0 for 6 lifetime against Derek Holland, having matched up against Holland as a member of the Kansas City Royals. Uni Betancourt. And that one's on the inside corner for a strike. So Betancourt, who has been a much more patient hitter this year, still not showing up in the walks, but he has been able to go deep in counts. He's quickly down 0-2. And he fouls that one away a little late on the fastball, and Holland to 95 miles an hour with that heater. You don't see many 8th place hitters lead their club in home runs, but that's what's happening in Milwaukee with Uni B at the top of the list on the Powerball home run leaderboard.
Well, not just first pitch. I mean, he's been much more selective early in the count and getting a number of his home runs late in the count.
2 on, 2 out. The 0-2 pitch is down in the dirt. Now Betancourt with 8 homers. Braun has 7. Milwaukee with 38 home runs for the season. In that 3-game series against the Pirates, the Brewers had 10 homers, winning 2 out of 3. In tight, 2-2 on Betancourt.
Yeah, the Brewers currently 4th in the National League in home runs, and that's a big story because, and you hate to keep going back to it, you know, Hart and Ramirez, between them they've got 1, and Hart hasn't even played. So the Brewers have done a nice job in that regard with the long balls without those 2 guys in the lineup.
That's an interesting decision here by Holland. He gets ahead of Betancourt at 2 strikes. You've got Loesch on deck. There is a base opener, but the base opener is not what you might think. It's at third base. And a breaking ball served into right, but played by Cruz. And Holland gets out of it. The Brewers strand a pair. An RBI from Beltre, then a home run from Ian Kinsler as we head to the 3rd at Miller Park. All right, Rock, our carsoup.com email the booth question tonight comes from Bruce, and he wants to know, do starting pitchers get upset with a lack of run support throughout the season? And you have 2 starters tonight who don't get much by way of run support.
When you look at Kyle Loesch in his 3 losses, the Brewers have a combined 1 run on the board. He's been shut out a couple of times. Only 1 run against the Cardinals his last time out, but there always seems to be a guy in every rotation that is just one of those spots in the rotation that you don't get a lot of runs. I don't know if they get upset, but I think they put a little pressure on themselves knowing that they haven't been getting a lot of runs and they feel as though they need to be perfect, very fine, and sometimes that works against you.
And Loesch hit an early hole here tonight. He did a great job getting out of a mess as Beltre sends that one to left field. Braun is back, and with room, he's got it. Just shy of the wall, Ryan Braun. Beltre just missed it. And 1 gone here in the 3rd.
Yep, got it out on the end of the bat. Hey, come out to Miller Park for Milwaukee Brewers Spring Madness. It's May 20th through the 22nd. The Dodgers are in town. Save 50% on select seats. Hot dogs and small sodas are just $1. For tickets, visit brewers.com/madness. Brewers are going to be done with the Dodgers early this year.
Yeah, home and home in the first 2 months. Brewers dropped 2 out of 3 to Los Angeles in LA on the last road trip. As Nelson Cruz bats for the 2nd time tonight. A strikeout victim in the 1st. Plenty of blame to go around for the Rangers in that 1st inning. Cruz came up with 2 on and struck out. And then Soto and Murphy struck out with the bases loaded to end the inning. And Loesch giving up just the 1 run despite 33 pitches in the 1st. There's a strike, 2-1.
A good example of how a veteran guy takes just a little bit more off of his pitches, and knowing that hitters are going to be anxious with the bases loaded. And the veteran influence you would expect to be a pretty good one with some of these young starters from Milwaukee.
It's another strike on the outside corner. A couple of well-placed fastballs for Kyle Loesch, and he's back in the count at 2-2 on Cruz.
And he bases his pitching patterns on the type of lineup that he's going to be facing. You can see Loesch throwing a lot of off-speed pitches to this Texas Rangers offense, a bunch of aggressive hitters.
58% of his pitches are off speed at this point. That one's in the air to center field, pretty well hit. Gomez at the track in front of the wall. He makes the catch. So a couple of long, loud outs, Beltre and Cruz.
Yep, another off-speed pitch, not a bad pitch. And using every inch of Miller Park, Gomez able to make the catch in front of the wall.
Two up and two down for Loesch. And that'll bring up Mitch Moreland. Well, you go through this lineup, Rock, the Rangers, I mean, there's not an easy way through it. Seems like every one of them have power. As Moreland rips one to right, Aoki is back, and that one is gone. Another two-out home run. Moreland joins Ian Kinsler with two-out clouts, and it's 3-0 Texas.
Well, this Rangers offense obviously sitting off speed on Kyle Loesch, because every one of the balls hit in this inning off speed pitches, including that last one.
So Moreland homering in each of the last two games. That gives him 6 for the year.
Change up, somewhat down the middle of the plate, up in the zone, and Mitch Moreland able to wait back long enough and line it out of here to right.
And Loesch has given up a lot of damage on the changeup tonight. That's normally his signature pitch.
A tough time keeping it down.
On the ground to Weeks, and the side is retired, but the Rangers add to it. Mitch Moreland goes deep with 2 outs and nobody on. Second home run of the night, second home run of the series for Mitch Moreland.
Solo home run has given the Rangers a 3-0 lead over the Brewers, and we're just a month into the season, but we're already looking ahead to the All-Star break. The campaigning has already begun to send some Brewers to Citi Field for the 2013 All-Star game. So tonight on our AT&T Twitter poll, we are asking you which Brewer deserves his first All-Star selection. Is it Jean Segura, Uni B, Nori Aoki, or hard to find a hotter hitter in baseball right now than Carlos Gomez, already extending his hitting streak to 14 games tonight, Brian?
All right, Sophia, thanks. And certainly the Brewers are eager to send some folks to the All-Star game. Ryan Braun has been a regular at the All-Star game. And they've got a couple of guys that are certainly worthy if they're choosing up sides right now, which they're not. We understand that. But Carlos Gomez and Uni Betancourt is not even on the ballot. You have to write in Uni, as Sophia was talking about. Loesch out quickly as Holland strikes him out.
Well, since we're talking about the All-Star game, elect your favorite Brewers to that game and vote early, vote often, and vote Brewers now through July 4th at Brewers.com. You can vote 25 times per email account. And certainly guys that are worthy. Uni Betancourt is a guy that you have to take a little bit extra time to vote in. He's a write-in candidate. And Jean Segura certainly should get some consideration, as should Carlos Gomez.
Well, those are the 8 that are on the ballot, courtesy of Feldko, as Aoki shoots one to right. So a base hit for the Brewers. That is their third, and all of the hits have come to right field.
You get All-Star ballots at the ballpark. You vote 25 times per email account online at Brewers.com. Vote early, vote often, vote Brewers. There's certainly some guys worthy.
Yeah, we always like to say, everybody in the sound of our voice, if you'll vote the maximum amount of times, then you'll see a lot of Brewers at the All-Star game. And Brewers fans have always been very good about the All-Star voting, and the players really appreciate that more than you could know. Remember when Corey Hart was a vote in for the All-Star game over David Wright.
Brewers have had 2 of those. Jeff Jenkins was one.
That's right. Good point. Well, Gene Segura is certainly off to an all-star start. Playing a great shortstop. Did commit an error earlier tonight. Just his 2nd error of the season. But he comes in 4th in the league in hitting, and a bouncer to 3rd. Beltre to 2nd for 1, and the turn not in time. Segura legs it out, and that's important because it keeps the inning alive for Ryan Braun.
Beltre tried to be very quick on his delivery to second base. He kind of fumbled the ball just enough right there. Took him a little bit extra time to get rid of it, and that's all it took for Segura to get safely into first base. Anytime you can extend the inning for number 8, you're doing a good job.
Well, 2 gone and the speedy Segura at first. Even batting 2nd in front of Braun, he's been doing his fair share of running. Segura has 8 stolen bases. See how mobile he will be in this at bat as Braun takes a strike.
Now you're down 3-0. You better make sure you make it if you take off. No outs on the bases when you're down early.
Rangers up 3-0. They've scored in each of the first 3 innings. Braun could cut into that lead with 1 swing of the bat. Brewers still lead the league in stolen bases. They're 4th in home runs and number 1 in steals coming in. They have 27 this season. Segura leads the club, and individually he is 4th in the league in stolen bases. Braun, a strikeout victim his first time up, and has not homered on this homestand. His last home run came against Josh Beckett in Los Angeles. And watching Braun as long as we have, that only means he's about due.
Yeah, he gets them in streaks like a lot of power hitters. They come in bunches.
Ryan has 7 home runs this year, 24 runs batted in. He's been on a nice run at the plate. He's had a great homestand offensively. While he hasn't hit for power, Braun has hit for average. He's 14 for 31. He's hitting .452 on the homestand.
Yeah, average over 300 at 311. It's pretty much where it'll end up, or very close to that by the end of the season.
Last year it was Jonathan Lucroy who led the club in batting average. Braun was 2nd on the team. Braun led the league in homers last season with 41, but he hit .319. So not only did he hit for power, but he maintained a very high batting average. Finished 2nd in the MVP voting last year to Buster Posey, who won the batting title last season. Ryan has 5 consecutive years driving in over 100 runs. And he pulls that one in the hole, a base hit. So Braun is aboard with 2 outs.
Yeah, that was a good pitch by Holland. A slider on the outside corner, down in the strike zone. That's just a good hitter hitting a good pitch. Watch this. Yeah, that's a tough pitch to just lay your bat on, let alone hit it hard enough to hit it into left field. He stays right on it, goes down and gets it.
So Braun is 1 for 2. And it extends his interleague hitting streak to 30 in a row. And it is a heavy streak as well. Braun hitting near 400 during that 30-game interleague hitting streak. 2 on for Ramirez. Ooh, he had a big cut.
Had a good pitch to hit. Yeah, left an off-speed pitch up, and Ramirez just a little bit underneath. Throwing a lot of those pitches, and that was right in his wheelhouse. And maybe in another week, that ball's out of the ballpark. He's still trying to get his timing down.
And a pick-all play. Segura just back. Well executed by the Rangers. It's Kinsler coming in behind the young shortstop.
Got that second baseman shaded up the middle, Kinsler, and doesn't have to go too far to try a pickoff play.
Perfect throw from Holland. So that'll keep him a little closer. We'll see if the Brewers can cash in with 2 outs. They had 2 on in the second inning with 1 out and could not score. Putting some traffic on the bases early tonight. Rangers up 3-0. Segura and Braun on the bases. Good speed out there. And it's 1-2 on Ramirez. Now, last night, Ramirez, for the first time in 2013, hit 1 out.
A split-fingered fastball, and he gave the Brewers their 3-run lead back, and Brewers able to come up with a victory against Texas last night.
That was his final at-bat of the night. Replaced defensively by Jeff Bianchi after that. Ramirez back up the middle of the base hit. Segura on his way to the plate. The throw coming in, and Segura is out at home. Wow. Segura slowed down. And a gun from center field, and Leonis Martin. Looked like he was going to score easily, but Segura pulled up. Soto put the tag on him. Brought to you by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. By Ho-Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. And by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. David Murphy leads off for the Rangers. 3-0 Texas, and a very unusual ending. It looked like Segura was going to score easily, but he pulled up about halfway to the plate as if there was no throw coming. I'm not sure if he got deked by the catcher Soto. Whatever it was, he didn't finish off the sprint, and he was tagged out. Perfect throw from Leonis Martin in center. As Murphy sends one to shallow left, long run for Braun. Foul territory. He's got it for the out.
I think what Segura was looking for was some help from Jonathan Lucroy. Now he's going to be busting it hard, and as he makes his turn into home plate, he doesn't see anything from Lucroy, and he thinks he's going to be okay. You see his hands go up, saying, "I need some help." On deck hitter has to go up there and tell him whether to slide or stand up, what the situation is, and you can see the reaction from Segura. I guess asking Lucroy, where were you? Where are you going to help me here?
Man, that is a gift.
But I guess if you don't see anybody, you have to assume that it's going to be a close play at home plate. You just got to continue to run hard.
There's a bunt by Martin. He's very fast. Losh's throw, and not in time. So Martin making an impact here. Gunned down Segura at the plate. Now bunts his way aboard. This guy's about as fast as there is in the game right now. And when he gets one down in that area, I thought Loesch did a pretty good job to even make it close.
And it doesn't even have to be a great bunt as fast as he is. I mean, this isn't what you would classify as a great bunt. Loesch able to get there, but he's so fast he's able to outrun the throw from the pitcher. There it is, and he beats the throw to first base.
And now Holland up there to try to bunt him over. Boy, you look at that inning, and Segura getting thrown out at the plate. That is a huge play in this game. You're talking about a run in, 2 on. And Lucroy coming up, who already has a hit tonight. I mean, you have the makings of a potential 2-out rally. Got a chance for 2 here. Ramirez to second. And they get the out. And Segura wisely just plays for 1.
I guess lesson learned for Gene Segura. If nobody's out there telling you what to do, you just got to continue to run very hard and assume it's going to be a close play.
Well, the Charter high-speed pitch so far tonight. Holland hitting 95. Loesch topping out at 90 so far. 2 men out for Loesch. Holland over at first on the fielder's choice. And here's Kinsler. Kinsler has been on twice. Infield hit. And then a home run. He scored both or 2 of the 3 Rangers runs. Hit one off the facing of the Loesch level just inside the foul pole back in the 2nd inning. And his 2 hits tonight gives him 15 multi-hit games, which is the best in the American League. Getting a lot of production from the top of that order. Two balls and a strike on Kinsler. And that one's into left center field. That is trouble. That is going to bounce off the wall. Holland around third. He'll stop there. As Ian Kinsler is having quite a night. His 3rd hit of the ball game.
Well, he's hitting everything too. Fastballs, off-speed pitches. Got something up in the strike zone there. There's a fastball that was up around the belt, and Ian Kinsler able to hammer it into the gap out there in left center. Good thing the pitcher was on first base. That might have been another run.
So Kinsler now a triple away from the cycle. We're only in the 4th inning. 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs. And Loesch having to make more pressure pitches here. He's had a bunch of them already in this game. And does not figure to last long in this one. Pitch count at 64 already. We're only in the 4th inning, but some high stress pitches so far for Loesch.
He just has not had the command, the last couple of starts that he did early on. When he only throw 90 miles an hour, that's a big deal. Down the strike zone on the corners. That's what he was able to do in his first 5 starts, first 4 starts.
Loesch coming off back-to-back losses. Took a loss against Clayton Kershaw in Los Angeles despite pitching well. Loesch went 7 innings, only 2 earned runs in that game, but Kershaw was a part of a shutout against Milwaukee that day. A 2-0 loss for the Brew Crew. 2-1 to Andrews. In the air to right. Aoki is there. And Loesch survives his first scoreless inning of the night. 3-0 Rangers. During the season from May to August, it involves partnering with the Brewers Community Foundation, players and coaches, Brewers wives, alumni, and team personnel, all working hands-on in the community. In May, the awareness is centered on a project called May Blitz Build. And it's connected to the Habitat for Humanity. Players and Brewer wives and staff will assist organizers from that organization. The endeavor is sponsored by Ryan Braun, Brewers Wives, and Brewers Community Foundation. 3-0 Texas as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Brewers are letting a golden opportunity go by in the 3rd. They have had 5 hits in the last 2 innings, and yet Holland still has a 0 on the board. And what you would classify as an unforced error last inning, a base running mistake by Segura.
And things you can't do. You can't make mistakes like that against teams like the Rangers. They're tough enough to score on this starting rotation. One of the best in the business.
Lucroy singled to right his last time up. Holland started the game retiring the first 4 with a strikeout, but has given up 5 hits to the last 9 batters. And the pitcher is included in that. Loesch. Rangers got single tallies in the first, second, and third. Solo homers by Kinsler and Moreland. Loesch stranded the bases loaded in the first inning. Lucroy takes a strike. 26-year-old Derek Holland out of Wallace State Community College made the improbable rise to the big leagues at college in Alabama. As Lucroy gets jammed, Kinsler is back and he's got it for the out.
A perfect example of how good the scouting is in baseball. Doesn't matter where you're at. If you can pitch and you can play, they'll find you. Holland, a perfect example of that.
Now Holland just signed a 5-year extension with the Rangers this past March, making his first ever appearance against the Milwaukee Brewers tonight. Here's Gomez now, who extended a hitting streak to 14 in a row, which is a career best for Gomez. And it ties the longest hitting streaks in the National League this year. Michael Young, the former Ranger, he had a 14-gamer earlier this season with the Phillies. Starlin Castro hit for 14 in a row with the Cubs earlier this season as well. Longest hitting streak in the big leagues, Kyle Seager of the Mariners, who has hit 16 in a row. And there's a bunt. It's a good one. Beltre bare hands and throws wide. Gomez will not make the turn. He is safe at first, and that'll be an infield hit for Gomez. Give him 2 more hits tonight.
Did you see that bunt? I mean, he was trying to get out of the way of that pitch. It would look like it was going to hit it. Somehow he got a bat on his baseball and bunted it perfectly right down the line. I mean, this guy, everything's working for Gomez right now. Actually, that ball knocked the bat right out of his hand. I mean, that's how close it came to the hands. And a base hit for Gomez. He does touch first base. I was wondering if he was able to get the bag. Look how nice that bunt is down the line on a pitch that nearly hit him.
Boy, look at that. That is a great image. That is some kind of stride for Carlos Gomez.
My hamstrings are burning just watching that.
And the power in which he runs, you know, he's full speed almost immediately, maybe 2 or 3 steps as that sprinter's burst. You got to be moving pretty good to have a stride like that.
Yeah.
Puts a lot of pressure on a defense. Gomez is aboard. Ricky Weeks at the plate.
Check out this throw. Just a little bit off. Yeah, but Mitch Moreland getting there quickly to keep Gomez at first base. Look how badly that throw missed first base. It just goes to show you, when you're going good, everything works for you. I mean, that's a ball that very easily could have been bunted right back to the pitcher. Because Gomez was surprised at how far inside that pitch was coming.
He's only adding to his league leading batting average with 2 hits today. Gomez batting .375 as we play on May 8th. See if the Brewers can take advantage. 3 balls, no strikes on Ricky Weeks. Weeks very rarely swings away 3-0. He certainly
might be a good opportunity for him to do it.
It's not something he does a lot of, and down 3-0. We'll see if he goes. Takes it right down the chute.
Yeah, sometimes you give a guy a green light on a 3-0 count, get him out of his doldrums, and let him see the ball a little bit. You never know what's going to get Ricky locked in. He's so streaky at the plate.
Weeks in the air to right. Coming in is Cruz. And he's got it for the out. So Weeks is 0 for 2. Gomez back to first. Now 2 men are gone, and here comes Betancourt. And as Uni steps to the plate, remember his first at bat, he was quickly in a hole 0-2. He took the first 2 pitches. Holland started him with a curveball, that slider that he throws. Betancourt was up there with 2 on and 2 out. He lined out to right after getting the count back to 2-2. And between the catcher and the pitcher and the batter, all of those thoughts are swirling through their minds about the last at bat, maybe what they've done in previous at bats. So much more to the game than just selecting a pitch. Lots of reasons behind it sometimes. There goes Gomez, and Betancourt fouls it back. Had a good cut.
Well, Betancourt, obviously, because of his days with Kansas City, the most at bats against Holland, 6 at bats. He's hitless. So Derek Holland has handled him pretty good.
Well, there were only 3 Brewers in the lineup tonight that had ever faced Holland. Ramirez, Gomez, and Betancourt. Gomez had the only hit and has 2 more tonight. Gomez is now 3 for 5 against Holland. A pitch out. Gomez stays put. Carlos is 7 for 9 in stolen base attempts this season. He and Segura, the 2 top base stealers the Brewers have. Gomez is actually 5th in the league in that category. Two balls and a strike on Uni.
Yeah, Holland's trying to be a little bit too quick to home plate, losing his command because he's worried about Gomez stealing.
He's got Kyle Loesch on deck, the pitcher. That's why Renicky has Betancourt in that 8 spot. There goes Gomez, and Uni pops it up. Back is Andrews, and the side is retired. Brewers are getting a lot of traffic on the bases, but have yet to score against the big lefty.
3-0 lead to the top of the 5th inning here at Miller Park. Let's take a look at our Brewers minor league report, and it's featuring a guy that we may see here soon, Francisco Rodriguez. He pitched a scoreless 8th inning last night for Brevard County against Charlotte. He had 1 walk and 2 strikeouts, and he was reinstated from the temporary inactive list at Nashville and transferred to Brevard County yesterday. So good to see K-Rod on the right track, guys.
All right, Telly, thanks. And yeah, that could be a big sign for the Brewers. We'll see how K-Rod comes back. You think about Francisco Rodriguez and how good he has been, how long he's been around. You realize he's 31 years of age.
Yeah, he's still got some time left.
Beltre, big chopper over to third. Ramirez got to hurry. The throw is just in time. Nice play. One third baseman to another. Hey, by the way, you can tune into Fox Sports Wisconsin for the 2nd annual Wisconsin Sports Awards. The best in Wisconsin high school, college, and professional sports were honored for their 2012 accomplishments. Ryan Braun was there, Aaron Rodgers. Find out who stole the show May 17th, 10:30 p.m. only on Fox Sports Wisconsin. And a shout out to our good buddy Greg Marshall, who put that event on, did a great job. And all the group Good Karma Broadcasting as well. That was a terrific event. Fun had by all. I was talking to Ryan Braun about that Wisconsin Sports Awards. He said it was first class and was. I can't give away all the things that he won, but you'll have to watch it on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
Right.
He really enjoyed it. Nelly Cruz pops it up to right. That is a mile high. Goodness. Aoki makes the play. Now there was a big league pop up.
He's just missed a couple of times, has Nelson Cruz. Slide out deep into the gap in right center. Just got under that one to Aoki in right.
Yeah, 2 men are out. Nobody on for Mitch Moreland.
That's a good pitch to hit right there. Yep, he knew it. He missed it. Fastball right down the middle.
And you just think about what inches on the bat. And you're looking at a different result. Now Mitch Moreland was at the plate in the 3rd inning with 2 outs and nobody on, and went deep. He ripped one, a line drive just over the fence and right. Has home runs in 3 of his last 4 games. Really, the only question on that line drive for Moreland was it high enough to get over the fence. That was one of the early changes here at Miller Park in right field, bringing that fence in, creating that party area, the ATI zone out there.
And got the bricks back there and from County Stadium.
Yeah,
County Stadium represented out there in the picnic area. There they are.
You remember those County Stadium bricks, Rock?
I do.
2-1 pitch. And a foul back out of play. Now when County Stadium was taken down before, there was a big auction and everything was up for grabs.
I got one of the stadium seats and a brick. And yes, I paid for it.
Yeah, right off the County Stadium bricks. In right field for Moreland back in the 3rd inning. They were even auctioning off clubhouse toilets from County Stadium.
I remember those too.
Did some of your best thinking in there. Great to have you with us at Miller Park tonight. Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder, Telly Hughes, our producer Wave Robinson, and Kevin Shank directing tonight's game. Brian Mikulogic in the truck doing whatever he does. And a swing and a miss. Moreland strikes out, chased a high fastball. And a 1-2-3 inning for Loesch, his best of the night. Brewers down 3-0. For our Freaky Fast delivery of the game, brought to you by Jimmy John's. And Freaky Fast is Carlos Gomez on a bunt single. Beltre, who is a great defender, had no chance. Second hit of the night for Carlos Gomez.
When you're hot, you're hot.
That was back in the 4th inning. 2 for 2 is Gomez, hitting .375 now. Brewers couldn't do anything with it, however. Milwaukee has stranded 5 tonight. And all 5 of those coming in the last 3 innings. Loesch was a strikeout victim his first time up. Does have a hit this year. He's 1 for 14 this season.
Derek Holland just continues to pour in the strikes. It seems like he's been 0-2 on a number of hitters tonight. He works quickly and showing a lot of confidence out there in the mound.
And he strikes out Loesch. Soto has to secure it at first. That is the 4th strikeout.
Hey ladies, join us for our Brewed for Her event on Saturday, May 25th as the Brewers take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. You'll get a ticket in the Gale Club, which includes food and drink, plus the chance to check out the latest Brewers gear and get fashion and beauty tips from the experts. Visit brewers.com/brewedforher for details.
Speaking of ladies, one of our favorite ladies down in the first aid station, one of our terrific nurses here at Miller Park, Judy Metz, celebrating her birthday. And Rock wrote a note to me saying that it is her 50th birthday Thursday.
Well, apparently from the folks that gave me that list, there's Nancy down there in the
yes. As Aoki goes down the right field line, that is hooking. It is a foul ball.
And when Nancy gave me that note, I said, is it okay to say she's 50? She says, oh, no, go ahead. She'll be glad to hear you say that.
Sounds like a little payback from Nancy to Judy.
Yeah, so she's upset. And it's all Nancy's idea.
How close was it? Well, Aoki does have a hit tonight. He singled to right in the 3rd inning. Tough matchup against the left-handed pitcher, but Aoki handles the bat pretty well against lefties. He was an everyday player in Japan, of course, a batting champion. He played against righties and lefties and always kept a good batting average. I think he had 280 career against lefties in Japan. Started the year last year more of a platoon player, so he didn't bat much against lefties to start the year last year, but worked his way into an everyday player. And he's hitting .250 against lefties this season. Back to Holland. And out number 2. So Aoki is 1 for 3 tonight. And 2 quick outs for Derek Holland in the 5th inning. Rangers are hoping they have a pitcher coming of age now in Derek Holland. They are trusting that he can be that type of pitcher. They signed him up to a 5-year deal in March. He broke in 09, became a full-time starter in 2011. Has some postseason experience out of the bullpen. Actually had a very good World Series against the Cardinals a couple of years ago in 2011, pitching out of the bullpen. He gave up a bunch of home runs last season, 32 of them as a matter of fact, which led the major leagues.
Well, the ballpark at Arlington didn't help him too much in that regard. He's only given up 2 this year. We're learning more to keep the baseball down, mixing it up a little bit. He's got a terrific slider. He has not made a mistake with that pitch tonight.
And he's one of those rare lefties that sinks the baseball. He's a sinker ball lefty that you don't see much of. Combines that sinker with the slider. He also has a good changeup that he's been using a lot more this season. And a strike thrower, he has twice as many strikes as he does balls in this game. One ball, 2 strikes on Segura, and a swing and a miss. Segura strikes out to end the inning. Holland, a 1-2-3 frame with 2 punch outs. Texas, and then a day off tomorrow, Thursday. A series starting in Cincinnati Friday, and a tough road trip coming up. Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, St. Louis. Brewers won't return to Miller Park until May 20th. Here's what the rotation looks like. These are probables. Gallardo will get the ball Friday, then Estrada, followed by Peralta, and then Kyle Loesch. Hiram Burgos continues to be available out of the bullpen. And let's hope the Brewers can do some damage on the road. They have not been the dominant home team that they were a year ago and have been the last couple of seasons. Brewers started the season 1-5 here at Miller Park. And a pretty heavy home schedule in the first 6 weeks of the season, and Milwaukee has not taken advantage of it. They did sweep a homestand the last time around, the Giants and the Cubs, and we're off to a good start here this homestand, winning the first 2 games, but 5 straight losses. And the best they can do here is go 4-5 on the 3rd homestand of the season.
They just got to, stay close. You don't want to get too far under 500 before you get all your pieces back, and they just never know. I mean, you look at last year in the second half, right at the end of the season, the Brewers were giving up for dead there in about July and end up making a run and getting close to that wild card spot. You just have to stay close.
Soto turns one around. Braun on the run and will run it down for the out. Well, Braun got a great jump, makes it look easy. And one gone in the 6th. It's never a goal to play .500 baseball, but I feel like if the Brewers, with all of the injuries and what they've had to deal with, the unrest in their bullpen, they've been able to weather some storms already. But you can hover around .500. A win tonight would get the Brewers to 16-16 before they hit the road. And without two significant pieces in Corey Hart and Aramis Ramirez for a good chunk of that. Hart still with the club. He's rehabbing every day. That injured knee, surgically repaired knee. Ramirez just getting back to the lineup.
You just have to get more consistent with your pitching, both in the rotation and the bullpen, and that has nothing to do with Corey Hart and Aramis Ramirez. The Brewers had 3 good runs through the starting rotation. They had that 12-3 stretch, and it's been a little bit different lately. That's the way it goes. I mean, seasons go that way. You can't rely on one aspect of your game to carry you throughout the season. Offense has to do it. Starters, bullpen, they all take their turn in carrying the club.
One and two on David Murphy. And he rips that one down the right field line. That'll stay fair and off the wall. And Murphy motoring into second base with a double on a 2-strike pitch. David Murphy with his first hit.
Yeah, threw it up and in, and David Murphy, a left-hander. Ordinarily, those guys, lefties, like it down and in. And Murphy able to pull the hands in and rifle that one down the right field line. Good piece of hitting by Murphy. Keeping those hands close to the chest and getting the big part of the bat on that baseball. Quick hands on the inside corner.
So Loesch with a man on and one away, and Leonis Martin, the speedy center fielder of the Rangers, will bat. Got Holland on deck. So the key man in this inning for Loesch. Martin dropped down a bunt single his last time up. And because of that, Ramirez is tiptoeing the grass, playing in at third base.
Yeah, there's a lot of room on the left side of that infield with Segura shading up the middle. Ramirez doesn't have much range when he's that shallow.
And Martin pops it up. Coming in is Aoki. He'll call off Weeks. And there is out number 2. Good job by Loesch. 2 going now with Murphy at second base, and the pitcher Holland coming up. Well, if you're looking ahead to the Brewers' 6th inning, they'll have Braun lead off. Braun, Ramirez, and Lucroy right in the middle of the order. Base runners have not been a problem tonight for the Brewers. Getting them in has. Brewers have left 5 men on base. And all those 5 came in a stretch of 3 innings. Holland has given up 6 hits, but he has been able to keep a 0 on the board. There's a base running blunder by Segura in the 3rd inning. Looked like the Brewers had a sure run. Segura pulled up thinking there was going to be no play, and Soto caught the ball, made the tag, and got the Rangers out of an inning. It was on this date last year. Josh Hamilton hit 4 home runs for the Rangers in a single game against Baltimore. And a big bat out of their lineup after he signed with the Angels. Hamilton's off to a terrible start with the Angels, and the Angels as a team are really having a tough time of it.
Yeah, 11-21, 10 games under 500.
Lowe strikes out Holland. The inning is over, and the Brewers are coming up in the 6th. And interesting, Rob. I noticed the T-shirts, and I noticed there is a sausage missing tonight.
Yeah.
It's normally 5 out there. The Italian runs away with it tonight. And where's Polish? We put that to the rest of the Brewers.
Where is
Polish?
Where's the Polish?
¿Dónde está Polish? What is it?
Where's Polish?
That is some tired acting right there.
Well, where is he?
But it's all part of the story here, because we're wondering where Polish is. And you have to stay tuned. And
Are we going to find out tonight?
I don't know. I just want to know where Polish is. But we'll find out. Something's going on, Rock. Just play along, okay?
I am.
Here's Ryan Braun as he swings and fouls one away.
You want me to go down and look for him?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a good bit until it's not our bit, by the way. I mean, we were just reporting the bit.
Right.
But there is a bit.
We have no control over what sausages run in the race.
But it's hard to play it straight when they come out wearing T-shirts that say, "Where's Polish?" Kind of cut us off at the knees right there. You know, if you're trying to act like, where's Polish? Where is he?
We're supposed to have noticed that there's no Polish, right?
We're supposed to be surprised by something and there's already a T-shirt made. I'm just saying.
I hear you. I hear you.
Where's Polish? We had it all mapped out. It was going to be great. So we don't know where Polish is. Somebody's got something up their sleeve. Starting to feel like a garden gnome moment here. Ball and 2 strikes with Braun at the plate. Got Ramirez coming up after. Then Lucroy as Braun takes one down and in. Brewers need a big bolt from someone tonight. They've had their chances. Stranded 2 in the second, left 2 on in the third. Holland working on 5 shutout innings as Braun pulls it foul. Braun had a single to left back to the third inning. Picked one right off the shoe tops. And a down and in slider from Holland. The 2-2 is inside. Full count to Braun. Holland certainly knows the game plan against Ryan Braun. You got to bust him in. But if you let one leak over the plate, look out. See what he has for him here. 3-2. And Braun hammers it right field. It is back. Cruz at the wall, and it is a fair ball off the corner of the wall. Braun racing around second, and the throw to third cut off. That'll be a triple for Ryan Braun, and he didn't miss a homer by much.
The way that young man covers home plate, incredible. You remember the base hit he got his last time up. A slider down, away. He hooks it into left. Here's a fastball away, up and away, leaked out down the center of the plate, and he just hammers it down the right field line, right in front of the wall. And a leadoff triple for Milwaukee. Time to get on that scoreboard.
First triple of the season for Ryan Braun, and he has 2 hits against Derek Holland tonight. Runner at third, nobody out, and Ramirez at the plate. And Aramis drives one right center. That ball's well hit, and laying out as Cruz can't make the play. Braun scores. Ramirez in the second with a double, and the Brew Crew on the board.
Ramos Ramirez now 2 hits in his last 2 at-bats with runners in scoring position. A ringing double to the gap in right center. It'd be nice to get that guy swinging the bat, get him hot. Here it is. Not wasting any time. A good pitch to hit right down the middle. He drives it into the gap. Good effort by Nelson Cruz. So the Brewers looking to put up a crooked number here in the 6th.
Jonathan Lucroy now. Ramos Ramirez, who had 50 doubles last year. He led the National League in that category. Is at second. Driving in a run with a double, the 8th hit for the Brewers. And that skips by Soto. Ramirez is going to try. The throw is in time. Ramirez is out. Oh, what a huge play.
And a couple of base running mistakes now from Milwaukee. 2 outs on the bases, 1 at home, and 1 at third. Well, they never, ever make the first out at third base. And very quick is Giovanni Soto getting on that baseball, and a good throw to third. Yep, and he's out. That's a good call over third base. Ramos just not running all that well yet, and he's an out at third base. That's a huge play.
That's just one of those moments where the brain says yes, but the body says no. As Lucroy sends one to left, Murphy toward the line, and he's got it for out number 2. 2 monumental base running mistakes tonight by the Brewers. Now Ramirez coming off that left knee injury, and you know feels like he's able to get there. The body fires off in the past, but it's not there yet.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you can't turn that off and turn it on. I mean, your instincts are what they are, and your instincts forget that you're not running at 100%. But an out at home and an out at third, and the Brewers down by a couple of runs. Should be a tie game.
Thought it was interesting. Ramirez slid head first. I'm not sure I've ever seen him slide head first. He's injured his knee, the same knee twice, sliding feet first. And that's been something the Brewers have talked about with Ramirez. It changes the complexion of the inning. Soto made a good play after boxing the pitch. He put it right on the bag and bang bang at third base, but the call was right. Gomez into right center field. Cruz is over, and he's got it. Oh, he dropped it. He lost it in the lights. Gomez racing around second, on his way to third, and the throw is late, and Gomez hustling all the way out of the box ends up at third base. What looked like a sure out gets by Cruz. He lost it in the ribbon board of the lights.
Boy, not for those base running mistakes by Milwaukee, and well, you see that a lot in this ballpark. Those ribbon boards, the lights up there, and Nelson Cruz just flat misses that one. That's probably going to be a triple for Gomez. I'm not sure what they're going to roll it, but certainly a ball that needs to be caught out there in the outfield. Texas Rangers in this series have made a number of defensive gaps that have not shown up on the scoreboard.
That is going to be scored as a triple for Gomez, who has 3 hits tonight. His 5th 3-hit game this year. 5th 3-hit game. Well, now the Brewers looking for a quick strike. One swing of the bat could tie it up. Ricky Weeks at the plate, and a bouncing ball to second, and just like that, the inning ends. So the Brewers get a run, but some base running mistakes cost them. World famous Clemens. We're still looking for Polish. 3-1 Texas.
¿Dónde está Polish?
Wisconsin is brought to you by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. And by Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. We play on here at Miller Park. 3-1 our score. 7th inning now, and it'll be Ian Kinsler to lead off. Lowe's still out there. He's given up 3 runs. All 3 of those runs came in the first 3 innings. Kinsler has scored 2 of them. Hit a home run in the 2nd inning off Loesch. And that one is a strike. 0-2 the count. Kinsler is a triple away from the cycle. Rangers had one last year with Beltre. Brewers had one against him in Aaron Hill, which was Aaron Hill's 2nd cycle in an 11-day span. I was hoping that's not on the table for Ian Kinsler tonight.
Well, certainly a guy capable. He's got the speed for the triple. Kyle Loesch has been very good at keeping his score at 3-1. You know, 3 runs on the board after the way he started tonight.
Texas has 3 runs on 8 hits. Bullpen is active. Gonzalez the lefty, Badenhop the right-hander. But you know, Renicky would love to get Loesch through this inning. His spot due up 2nd in the bottom of the 7th. Kinsler sounded like it was off the end of the bat, and routine for Gomez, out number 1. I was glad to see Aramis Ramirez return to the field. I think there was always a little bit of concern. Ramirez was thrown out, and as he comes back from that knee injury, went into the dugout, and Ron Renicky went over to chat with him. Ramirez with 2 hits tonight. And an RBI double in the 6th. Planting the first Brewers run. The Brewers have actually out-hit Texas. Loesch, after that 33 pitch first inning, has really settled it down. And that's why he's still pitching here in the 7th. And that's what you love about Kyle Loesch. He will give you a chance to win.
Yep, he's a battler out there. Pitching better now than he was early in the game. He's settled down nicely.
He's got 3 scoreless innings against Texas after they scored in the first 3. Elvis Andrus with a base hit. So Texas keeps the pressure on. That is their 9th hit. And a man on for Adrian Beltre. A former UW Milwaukee basketball player, Demetrius Harris, hadn't played football in 4 years, but that didn't stop NFL teams from calling. You can read about Harris's unlikely journey to pro football. Jesse Temple has the story at foxsportswisconsin.com. Beltre now with 1 away, and Loesch looking for a ground ball.
Now you would figure that Elvis Andrus is going to try and steal a base right here. You know, eliminate the possibility of the double play. He can run. Well, Loesch is going to try and keep him close.
Andrews is a perfect 6 for 6 in stolen base attempts. Saw Adrian Beltre and Ron Renicky shake hands before the game. Those two go way back to the Dodger days when Beltre was coming up in that Dodger minor league system. And I was talking to Ron about those days in San Antonio. And an interesting story from their time together. It was about midway through the season. Beltre was 19 in Double-A. He was tearing up the Texas League. But Renicky was going to bench Beltre for disciplinary reasons. He was showing up late to team stretch. Just some off the field rules violations. Nothing major, but he was trying to send a message to this young prospect. And he had taken him out of the lineup. And Renicky, as the manager of that Double-A team, got a call from Tommy Lasorda that day saying, Not only is Beltre going to be in the lineup, but he's going to be in the lineup in Los Angeles tomorrow. So they were going to promote him to the big leagues, and Renicky said, "Oh no, of all days, I'm just now trying to discipline this kid."
Yeah.
And now I've got to call him in the office to tell him he's going to the major leagues. And he went straight from Double-A to the big leagues that year. That was '98. And he never came back. And what a player he's become.
Yeah, he can do just about everything out there in the field. Very good defensively. Hits for average, hits for power.
A four-time Gold Glover who hits right in the middle of that Rangers batting order. There goes Andrews, and the pitch is low and away. It is ball 4. Beltre draws the walk, and Kyle Loesch may be at the end here. 2 on with 1 out. Decision time for Renicky.
His pitch count is up there, well over 100 pitches, and it looks like that's going to be it.
So Loesch gave him everything he had tonight. Got off to a shaky start, but able to go 6 1/3. He's out, and some runners on base. And we'll turn it over to his bullpen. We'll take a timeout.
Down 3-1 to the Rangers. Kyle Loesch battled his way through 6 1/3 tonight. And just a reminder, for select Monday home games, fans can purchase Terrace Reserve seats for just $9. That's courtesy of Miller High Life. Visit Brewers.com/highlife.
Now the best Loesch can hope for tonight is a no decision. He exits down 3-1. Bert Badenhop will be the next man out of the bullpen for the Brewers, a ground ball specialist who could certainly use one here, and the dangerous Nelson Cruz coming up.
Last pitched on Saturday against the Cardinals, striking out all 3 batters that he faced. So coming off a good outing, needs a ground ball to get out of this mess.
2 on, 1 out. A single and a walk ends Kyle Loesch's night after 6 1/3 with 9 hits allowed, and at this point 3 runs. Loesch had 6 strikeouts as well. Cruz with a big bat. 7 home runs, 24 ribbies. And a bouncer foul. We see Bert Badenhop's last 3 outings, striking out the side against the Cardinals on Saturday.
One of the more active pitchers between pitches that you're ever going to see in baseball. A lot of energy, Bert Badenhop.
Where's the emotions on the sleeve? 0-2 to Cruz. Count remains 0-2. Just got a piece, and it looks like Badenhop has good sink on his sinker ball.
He's got that 3/4 delivery where he gets that natural sink because of the arm angle, and he starts at about a little below mid-thigh, a little bit above the knees. When it starts there, it dips out of the strike zone. That's where he gets his ground balls.
Do it again, another 0-2. And Cruz strikes out Badenhop with a spinner. And a big strikeout for Badenhop. That is the 2nd out in the inning. And we'll see if Renicky is going to make another pitching change here.
And the slider after 3 consecutive sinkers. And this time Cruz pulls off of it and comes up empty. Good pitch.
Now Renicky going to the home plate umpire Tim Timmons, so a double switch is coming up. Badenhop just in there to face the right-handed batter, and with a lefty Moreland coming up, the former Ranger Mike Gonzalez will come into pitch, and we'll take a timeout. Ricky Weeks from the ball game. He made the last out last inning, and Alex Gonzalez will take over at first. And that'll move Betancourt over to second base, and all of that to set up this matchup. Michael Gonzalez against left-handed hitting Mitch Moreland.
Another guy throwing the baseball pretty well. A .338 earned run average in game number 17 here tonight. And Mitch Moreland, a hot hitter for the Rangers, and Michael Gonzalez' job to get him to end this inning. Last pitch on Sunday did Gonzalez and tossed a perfect 7th inning with a couple of strikeouts.
Gonzalez was a Ranger in 2011. He pitched on their World Series team. 2 on, 2 out. And his first pitch is upstairs, ball 1. Three to 1 Texas, big spot, and Moreland takes a strike. I'm not sure that's where Gonzalez wanted to put it, but he gets a strike out of it.
Yeah, that slider, he normally likes to put that pitch down and away to lefties. That was a hanger.
Moreland's been very good against left-handed pitchers this season. Ooh, had a good cut, and it's 1-2. We were talking to Ron Renicky about Gonzalez before the ball game, and one thing you'd like to hear, the manager was talking about Gonzalez, the fact that he wants the ball. I mean, he wants to be in the pressure spot, and Renicky puts him into a pressure spot here. He's been a closer in the big leagues.
Well, you saw that batting average against lefties at .333. A lot of that damage came early in the year. He's been much better than that lately.
2-2 to Moreland. And Lucroy with a great block. They'll ask if he went, and Moreland able to check his swing. Outstanding play by Lucroy behind the plate.
And you got to keep that slider down in the strike zone with 2 strikes, and Luke has done a very good job of keeping pitches in the dirt in front of him and keeping them close.
It's a nice job. Still runners at first and second. Here comes a payoff pitch. Runners go. Moreland rolls over one, foul. Now, Gonzalez was acquired by the Rangers in 2011, trying to shore up their bullpen. He did a nice job down the stretch, and in the first 2 rounds of the postseason in 2011, he did give up a couple of runs in the World Series. Some fond memories from that pennant winning team. 3-2, jam shot, that's going to fall, a base hit. 1 run is in, and the Rangers add to their lead. It's now 4-1, and Mitch Moreland is having quite a series. His second hit tonight. That's an RBI single with 2 outs.
He got it up and in. Not a bad pitch. Good spot to a left-hander, but Moreland able to fight it off. A little flare into center field. Wasn't supposed to be in there. Lucroy was setting up on the outside corner, ended up in, and Moreland able to dump it into center. That's a big base hit and a big run for Texas.
That run will belong to Loesch. Now it's going to be Soto. It just has been a frustrating night for the Brewers on a number of different plays, different pitches. Had some base running mistakes. Rangers a very good ball club, and they are cashing in.
You got to play well to beat them, and the Brewers have hurt themselves on the bases tonight.
Two 2-0 on Soto, who is 0 for 3 tonight. 2-1. Rangers have another left-hander on deck. Gonzalez trying to wrap up this inning right now. Obviously, Renicky is going to ask multiple innings out of Gonzalez. If he does get an out, that's why he uses the double switch. The 3-1 outside ball 4. So the native Texan, Michael Gonzalez, issues the walk. The inning continues. And a left-hander coming up. Rick Kranitz is on his way out, the pitching coach. Well, the thing that makes Michael Gonzalez effective is the thing that can hurt him as well, his command. You don't know how much he's looking at the next hitter being a left-hander, how that played into his decision with Soto, especially after he fell behind him. Bases loaded for Texas, and strike one. Gonzalez chops a curveball in there. It's the second time tonight Murphy has batted with the bases loaded. Loesch struck him out in the first inning. Rangers have added to their lead. It's now 4-1. RBI single by Moreland. Strike two. 1-2 on David Murphy.
Got to be careful going up and in. You remember his last time up, Loesch tried to go up and in, and he ripped one down the right field line. Very quick on the inside corner.
Foul tip in and out of the glove of Lucroy. And Murphy will see another one. Brewers will have Betancourt, then Gonzalez, and then the top of the order, Aoki. And did he go? Yes, he did. Timmons rings him up. Gonzalez strands the bases loaded. A run does score, however, and Texas leads 4-1.
The Rangers 4-1, and it is not too early for Brewers fans to get to the polls. The All-Star ballots are out here at Miller Park, and several Brewers are making their cases here early in the season to be first-time All-Stars. So tonight on our AT&T Twitter poll, we're asking you which Brewer deserves his first All-Star selection. 23% said Gene Segura, 15% Uni B, 10% Nori Aoki, and overwhelmingly 52% Carlos Gomez. Now, guys, we have a question for you on our Ho Chunk Gaming Text the Broadcast question. Dan in Waukesha wants to know, will we see Uni B hit higher in the batting lineup considering his RBI totals? 24 ribbies for Uni B so far.
That's a good question. I think Renicky likes where he is down at the bottom of the order as he pops this one up. And easy enough for Elvis Andrus for the first out. I mean, I think one of the reasons why Betancourt has thrived because of where he hits in the order. You know, there's not a lot of pressure to drive in runs. He's had a lot of base runners on in front of him. But he and Ryan Braun are the club leaders in RBIs, and I guess why change him at this point?
Well, and again, I mean, you got some other guys that, you know, Gomez is in the 6th spot in the batting order. You know, John Lucroy right now 5, but there's not going to be any changes in the top 4, that's for sure. You got Aoki, Segura, Braun, Ramirez, so I guess if it's not broke, don't fix it for Uni Betancourt. He's comfortable where he's at. You know, why mess that up?
Here's Alex Gonzalez, came in on the double switch. And his first at bat. Gonzalez coming off knee surgery last year, and got a piece of his bat. 0-2 the count.
You know, Uni Betancourt, you know, has batted in the cleanup spot 3 times this year. And that is the highest that he has been in the batting order.
A Toyota game summary. Rangers just adding to their lead. It's 4-1 now. Moreland with a couple of hits. Carlos Gomez is 3 for 3 tonight. And Gonzalez down on strikes. Holland getting stronger the later he goes here.
And that is one nasty breaking pitch that Derek Holland's been throwing tonight. 89 pitches for Holland, 2 outs in the 7th. Going down and in, and he's been doing that all night.
Holland had 1 bad outing this year against the Angels, gave up 6 earned runs in 5 2/3. He's coming off 8 shutout against the Red Sox last Friday. Only 1 earned run allowed tonight. And between he and Yu Darvish, it's a pretty powerful tandem for the Texas Rangers at the top of their rotation. 2 outs, top of the order, Aoki. 1 for 3 tonight against the left-hander.
And you'd like to say, you know, get the starters out of there, bring in the bullpen, but those guys have been pretty good too. Bullpen's got a 2.91 ERA.
Yeah, their closer is Joe Nathan. Is Aoki. That's off the glove of Moreland. And Aoki thinking about 2 and a wide turn. Cruz bobbled the baseball, but Aoki made the right choice.
Yeah, good idea. You don't want to make another out on the bases.
While Cruz has his difficulties in the outfield, one thing he does possess is a very strong arm.
Well, right off the end of the glove, and Aoki thinking about second base, but thought better of it. You don't take any chances on the bases now, not down by 3 runs.
Well, the inning is extended for Gene Segura, doing all he can to get Braun to the plate in this inning. 4-1 Texas. That is the 10th hit of the game for Milwaukee, but just 1 run. Segura, center field, Martin right there, and just like that, side retired. So another one stranded for Milwaukee. They've left 7 on tonight. On the road beginning Friday, and Giovanni Gallardo against Tony Cingrani. That'll be the Friday pitching matchup. 5:30 we're on the air for Brewers Live, and then Estrada against Leto Saturday, with Peralta and Arroyo matching up on Sunday, the finale of the series.
Looking forward to seeing Cingrani. That kid can throw. Bunch of strikeouts already this year. Good numbers to start.
He's 2-0. He has 33 Ks in just 24 innings, and Renicky will make another pitching change here, bringing on Figueroa. We'll take a timeout. A reminder that this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Brewers and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Brewers. So Alfredo Figueroa is on the pitch. He'll match up against Craig Gentry as Ron Washington makes the change at the plate.
Yeah, Figueroa has been eating up some innings for Ron Renicky. 2 consecutive appearances, where he has gone 2 2/3 innings. Last did that on Sunday against the Cardinals.
Now the Rangers have Lance Berkman on deck, so it looks like the end of the line for Derek Holland. Gentry getting some late inning playing time, just like we saw last night. He and Leonis Martin essentially a platoon in center field. Gentry starts against left-handed starting pitching. Figueroa trying to keep the Rangers at 4 and send the Brewers to the bat in the 8th, with the middle of the order coming up. Braun, Ramirez, and Lucroy. Alfredo Figueroa. Certainly an opportunity for him to pitch his way into some more important innings, as Gentry sends that one high and deep to center, but Gomez with plenty of room to make the catch for out number 1. Too much air under that one for Gentry. 1 gone in the 8th inning. Texas has activity in their bullpen. Tanner Scheppers, setup man for Joe Nathan.
A very good bullpen for this Texas Rangers ball club. As if the starting pitching isn't good enough, their bullpen probably as good, if not better.
So Lance Berkman's going to hit for Holland, which will officially close the book on Derek Holland. He gave up a lot of hits, but only 1 run. If the Brewers don't come back to win this game, they are going to be kicking themselves over some base running blunders tonight.
Yeah, both teams have 10 hits. 10 hits, 1 run for Milwaukee. You got to be scratching your head after the ball game if it ends like that.
Still time, though. Berkman, typically the Rangers' designated hitter, making his second appearance in the series. Longtime Brewers nemesis in the Central Division. Little roller out to Betancourt at second. And 2 men are out. By the way, Betancourt playing second base. That is the 5th position he has played this season.
Yep, every position in the infield. He even played a couple innings in left field. The versatile one.
32 games into it. He's already played 5 positions. And happy for the playing time. Ian Kinsler has had a nice night. He and Moreland have been the stars offensively. Kinsler with 3 hits, single, a double, and a home run. Scored twice. He popped his 7th home run of the season in the 2nd inning. Just one of those days for Kyle Lohse. It started out as a struggle, a couple of infield hits, and then Beltre with an RBI. In that first inning, Lohse was able to wiggle out of a bases loaded jam with a couple of strikeouts. Gave up 2 solo homers to Kinsler and Moreland. But then settled down and took it into the 7th inning. Run support continues to be an area of concern when Kyle Lohse is on the mound. Brewers only scoring a little over 2 runs per game when he pitches. And they give him only 1 tonight.
And in Lose's 3 losses this year, a combined 1 run of support for Kyle. Not much better tonight.
Figueroa zips a fastball in there, 2-2. Kinsler lines it foul. Boy, he's got a quick bat.
98 miles an hour in that last fastball, and he just turned it around with 2 strikes.
Something, huh?
Quick bat.
Kinsler with 3 hits tonight, hitting .326 now. 2-2, and a bouncer to third. This is Ramirez, and the throw just in time. So Figueroa, a nice inning, 1-2-3. Rangers go in order. Brewers coming up, 6 outs to work with, down 3. Miller Park, Milwaukee, and the final game of this homestand, wrapping up a 9-gamer. Brewers need a comeback tonight to go 4-5 on the homestand. Changes for the Rangers. Gentry stays in. He'll play center field. And the new pitcher is the Rangers setup man, Tanner Scheppers, and he has been lights out this season.
Yeah, he's given up only 11 hits in his 14 games this year. You see the earned run average at about .5 something. Got a terrific cut fastball that goes along with the sinker. Not many strikeouts, but he does throw a lot of strikes.
Ryan Braun at the plate, presented by Wendy's. A couple of hits tonight for Braun. He scored a run. The only run the Brewers have in came in the 6th. They've run themselves out of a couple of potential big innings. But still time to turn it around. Middle of the order coming up. And Scheppers splits the plate, and it's 2-1. St. Louis has already won today. They beat the Cubs at Wrigley 5-4. Edward Mujica with his 9th save. He's 9 for 9 in save opportunities. The Reds lost to the Braves, bouncing around the Central Division. Atlanta now with 20 wins. Atlanta joins the Cardinals with 20 wins. Actually, St. Louis now with 21 victories. tight. Backs Braun out of there.
Yeah, look, yeah, a little bit too close for comfort right there, up around the face. And Bronny able to get out of the way.
Sure, Braun could hear the hiss of that 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Went right across his eyes. 3-2 pitch, and Braun strikes out. It looked like he chased ball 4. He came up and in, and one away here in the 8th. Powerball home run count. Aramis Ramirez finally got number 1 yesterday against Frazier. Put him on the board. That gave the Brewers a 3-run lead.
And swinging the bat pretty well here tonight.
Ramirez is 2 for 3, a single and a double. Drove in the only run in the 6th.
Yeah, Shepard's for a guy that doesn't have all that many strikeouts. I mean, he's got a 96-mile-per-hour fastball to go along with that cutter.
Hit hard on the ground. Kinsler goes right under his glove, and Aramis Ramirez with a 3-hit game. Well, the door is open just a little bit for the Brewers.
I think Kinsler thought he had that ball in his glove. Wasn't hit that far away from him. He was able to get there. I thought he thought he had it in his glove, and just kind of trickled right underneath. Oh, one more base runner. The Brewers bring the tying run to home plate. That's what they're looking for here. Get Lucroy on and bring up Carlos Gomez.
Gomez on deck. Lucroy 1 for 3 tonight. Got a single to right against Holland. And a strike from Shepers. Shepers in just his 2nd year in the big leagues. First time he was on an opening day roster to start this season. And nothing wrong with his fastball. And he has kept it on the inner half against the Brewer right-handed hitters.
Yep, up and in where it's very tough to get a big part of the bat on.
Quickly 0-2 on Lucroy. And in on his hands. Chance to turn it. And the Rangers go around the horn 5-4-3, and Shepard's impressive in the 8th. 4-1 Texas on our way to the 9th.
Rangers a 4-1 lead over Milwaukee. Hard to believe the Brewers just 1 run on 11 hits tonight, Davey, but a couple of situations where they made outs on the base paths as well. They clearly should have more than 1 run tonight.
Well, that's right, and you know, those missed opportunities have really hurt, but they were in inopportune times, especially when Ramirez got thrown out at third base trying to advance on a pass ball with nobody out.
All right, we're going to break it down. Brewers live post game coming up, plus our instructional. Get inside the clubhouse. Plenty of interviews on the way after the ball game, Brian.
All right, Craig and Davey, thanks. Looking forward to that. Figueroa back on the mound, trying to give the Brewers a couple of innings here tonight. He was good in his first inning, a 3-up, 3-down 8th. Elvis Andrews leads off. He'll be followed by Beltre and then Nelly Cruz. Brewers are off tomorrow, starting a road trip Friday in Cincinnati. And we'll have all those games for you on Fox Sports Wisconsin throughout the road trip. Bouncing ball up the middle and a base hit for Andrews. Elvis Andrews with a 3-hit game. All singles for Andrews, but he's 3 for 5.
Brewers have had a very difficult time with the top of the Texas order tonight. Handled them pretty well in last night's ball game, but can't say that tonight.
There's 6 hits between Andrews and Kinsler tonight, each with 3 apiece. Texas has 11 hits now. Here's Adrian Beltre with Andrews over at first. The Rangers closer is Joe Nathan, and he is perfect so far this year. There's Nathan. Beltre drove in the first run of the game in the first inning at an RBI single. 1 for 3 with a walk. Beltre is the symbol of the back leg swing. There have been a number of occasions throughout his career when he has actually hit home runs with his right knee on the ground.
A little bit of an uppercut.
And I know you like that.
Yes, I do.
You like that back legging. That's got Bill Schroeder written all over it. And he rips one through for a base hit. And not a good start here to this 9th inning.
Of course, Adrian Beltre has had a lot more success than I did with that hack. 8 very, very nominal seasons in the big leagues for me. There's a slider that stayed up in the strike zone, and that's what we're talking about, leaning back. That's a back leg swing when you have your weight leaning back on your back leg as opposed to your front leg. Most of the time it's very difficult to hit an outside pitch like that, and difficult to hit the baseball to the opposite field in most cases, depending on where the pitch is.
Well, the exact opposite of that particular swing and approach would be a guy like Frank Thomas or Bryce Harper in modern day baseball here with a contemporary. Harper actually makes contact quite a bit with his back leg off the ground.
More of his weight on his front foot.
Now, Beltre is a dead pull hitter, but he stands up there on the plate, and most of his hits come to left, occasionally to center field. He has great power as well.
But when you're on the plate, you can handle the outside pitch. But you have to be very good on handling the inside pitch. But most guys aren't going to be willing to go in there too much, especially when you have that open stance.
2 on for Nelson Cruz. Runners go, and Lucroy no throw. Beltre stayed put. Andrews swipes third base. Andrews now 7 for 7 in stolen bases. Ramirez didn't budge.
Well, the play for Lucroy would have been at second base because Beltre doesn't run all that well, and ordinarily the back runner on the double steal doesn't get as good a jump. That's why Beltre didn't take off.
Well, now the Brewers will bring their infield in here. Certainly can't afford to fall behind anymore. It's going to be tough enough down 3. There's a called strike inside corner. Cruz is rung up. 97-mile-an-hour fastball from Figueroa.
Well, he can reach back. We've already seen a 98 out of Figueroa tonight. 3 strikeouts for Nelson Cruz, all coming with men in scoring position tonight.
Well, now the Brewers will send their middle infielders back, Segura and Betancourt. They're going to try to turn 2 to get out of this inning if it's hit up the middle. And one of the more dangerous hitters going right now for the Rangers, Mitch Moreland, coming up. Lucroy with a nice pick. Brewers actually a couple of hits and runners in scoring position, but only one of those drove in a run. The other base runner thrown out at the plate, Segura. And the Rangers have had a ton of runners on base tonight. The only 3-up, 3-down inning for Loesch was the 5th. Figueroa had one last inning. There's a strike, 1-1 on Moreland. Got a chance to turn it. Segura to the bag, throw to first, and Figueroa with 2 scoreless. At 2 on, nobody out. He gives the Brewers a shot. They're down 3. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Marshfield Clinic. How about Carlos Gomez with 3 hits tonight? One of those a bunt single. 3 for 3 is Gomez. Had a triple his last time up. After Cruz lost it in the lights, everything going well for Gomez, but his batting average is at 375 now. Continues to rise. Rangers lead 4-1. We head to the bottom of the 9th, and it will be Gomez who leads off for the Brew Crew. Gomez, the pitcher spot. Betancourt, and all of that against closer Joe Nathan, who is 8 for 8 in save opportunities this year.
And coming off a terrific season last year where he was 37 out of 40 in save opportunities. Throws a lot of strikes. 2 walks, 13 punch outs for Nathan in 11 innings. Not throwing as hard as he used to, but still getting outs.
Gomez, after that 3rd hit, upped his batting average to 381, leading the National League. Segura at 4th in the league, and now trying to get on base against Joe Nathan. Wow, Gomez with a big hack against his former teammate in Minnesota with the Twins.
Trying to hit that 3-run home run leading off an inning. Gomez coming out of his helmet.
And he lines one to center. Gomez with a 4-hit game. Thinking about 2. He's on his way. The throw comes in late. And Carlos Gomez 4 for 4 tonight.
Incredible what Gomez has been doing lately. Wow. A slider that he stays on very well. That's the thing about Gomez. He takes a wild hack like he did on the first pitch, and then he kind of takes stock. He steps to that batter's box and then puts a good approach on the baseball. An 0-1 slider, and he doubles to lead off the inning.
4 for 4. 7 total bases tonight for Gomez. A triple, a double, 2 singles. And here's Logan Schaefer now. Schaefer pinch hitting. Brewers now with 12 hits in the game. First 4-hit game this year for Carlos Gomez. Gomez has 4 hits in a game on 8 occasions. He's never had a 5-hit game. One more base runner, and the Brewers will bring the tying run to the plate. Schaefer takes a strike.
90, 91 miles an hour. Nathan used to be in the mid-90s. To go along with that power slider.
Started his big league career with the Giants and came to prominence as a member of the Minnesota Twins. Now in his 2nd year with the Rangers. Schaefer swings and misses. 1-2 the count. Nathan had a good year last year. He saved 37 for Texas. He was an all-star last year at the age of 37. Has 7 seasons of at least 36 saves. 6 of those with the Twins, and then in his first year as a Ranger saved 37 last year. The 1-2. And that gets away from Soto. Gomez to third base. And now the Brewers can steal a quick run.
Soto trying to square that one up. He tried to throw that left shoulder around, just couldn't do it quickly enough. Gomez with very good instincts, able to get to third base easily.
Be a wild pitch on Nathan. Logan Schaefer has been pretty good off the bench, especially if you combine his numbers from last year and this year. 2-2. Schaefer sends it foul. Schaefer 5 for 14 off the bench this season. He proved he could swing the bat well off the bench last year. It's not an easy task for a young hitter.
Hard to stay sharp when you're just taking batting practice, hitting in the cages. Tough enough when you're playing every day.
Got a chance to drive in a run, and if he reaches, that would bring the tying run to the plate. Brewers down 3. Gomez at third with nobody out, and Schaefer pulls it foul. Schaefer, the 4th outfielder on this club. A club that only carries 4 outfielders. The other 3 play pretty much every day, in Aoki and Braun and Gomez. Two balls, 2 strikes. And Schaefer spoils another one. Logan was a September call-up last year, and he got a number of at-bats off the bench. And for a guy who is trying to play his way into a job, he is hitting an impressive .409 off the bench, combining the 2 years. He's 9 for 22 in his career as a pinch hitter. Those are big numbers. Oh, had a good cut there, didn't he?
This has a nice approach at the plate. Hits the ball where it's pitched. Johnny Nairn preaches the 2-strike approach, just trying to put the ball in play. If he does that, pretty good chance he's going to be able to knock in a run.
Nathan just pouring in the strikes now. He's made 10 pitches so far, 8 of them for strikes. Gomez had the double, went to third on the wild pitch. Long battle here with Logan Schaefer. And a pop up in the infield. Andrews makes the catch, 1 gone. Gomez has to stay put. So Nathan outlasts the young hitter.
Combination of fastballs and breaking pitches, and Schaefer out in front of a slider. That's a big breaking ball by Joe Nathan. That's a lot bigger than I think anybody remembers he throwing early in his career.
Uni Betancourt now 0 for 3. Brewers have 1 run on 12 hits. And a frustrating night offensively. And that one's popped up. Mitch Moreland will make the catch in foul territory, and now the Crew down to their last out. Well, what a frustrating game for the Brewers tonight.
Yes, sir.
This has been one of those throw the remote at the TV kind of games. Opportunity after opportunity. Well, they still have an out to work with. Alex Gonzalez batting for the 2nd time. Trying to reach base to bring the tying run up. Got to give Nathan a lot of credit. His stuff is not what it used to be, but he's been able to continue to save games and figure out a way.
Got to locate a lot better than he did when he was throwing in the mid-90s, and he's been able to do that. Consistent release point, rhythm out there, and he's able to throw strikes with, both of his pitches essentially.
Had Tommy John surgery at the age of 35. Missed the entire 2010 season as Gonzalez is tied up. 2-1 to count now. For a guy in his mid-30s, to come back from major surgery on your pitching arm, and then to come back and resume the closer's duties, to get back in a premier spot. Rangers took a chance on him, and it has paid off so far. They signed him to a 2-year deal, even though he was coming off the surgery. That was the first full season back from the procedure. Gonzalez trying to get Aoki to the plate. Brewers need one more base runner to have a shot tonight. And a bouncer to third. Beltre will wind it up, and that's that. The Rangers win. Joe Nathan 9 for 9 in save opportunities as the Texas Rangers split this series. And a 4-1 final score tonight. Texas is headed to Houston, while the Brewers will take tomorrow off and then start a series in Cincinnati on Friday. Holland the winner, Kyle Loesch the loser. We send it out to Craig Cashon. It's time for Brewers Live.
Okay, Brian, thanks very much. The Brewers hit their way on base but can't cross the plate tonight. We'll talk about that, find out where the struggles were. Kyle Loesch absorbing yet another loss with very little run support. Going to top the clubhouse when we come back.